Right, okay, ladies and gentlemen, a big warm welcome here to this special bonus episode of the Under the Lights podcast with myself, Robert Blundell, being joined by my friend Alex Murphy, who I've had the pleasure of emceeing a couple of times. The story behind this particular episode is Alex Murphy has stepped in at just 11 days' notice to box Aqib Fiaz over 10 rounds on the Jack Catterall vs Harlem Eubank undercard live on DAZN this coming Saturday. Two Manchester lads, both with identical 13-1 records. I know you're really busy, Alex, so thanks for joining us this afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, no problem, mate. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm looking forward to Saturday and just buzzing to get out again on another big stage.
Yeah, I was just, no, obviously, I've had the pleasure of emceeing you quite a few times. But for anyone who's not too familiar with you, you've been pro about 4 years now. If you look at your record, you've been in with some of the real tough road warriors, haven't you? If you look at the names like Jamie Quinn, Christian Navarez, Lee Hallett, Brian Mariana, Dan Booth, these are the proper, I call them hard heads of British boxing, because the boxing every weekend, they box every week, they never get stopped, they're real tough. And as a new pro, they're the sort of lads you get your rounds in with and your experience. How did you find boxing some of them names, and any stories about them familiar names that you've took away and learned from each individual bout?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, I've not had the easy fights really. You know, coming through. They have all been tough fights. Like even like Jamie Quinn there. That was my second fight, and he had won the fight previous to ours. So like we knew he was going to come and have a go. And then like when we spoke to his coach after it, he had said that obviously he come to win. And same with a few of them. To be fair, Brian Moreno, he was a good opponent, probably one of the best I've been in with. He was good, and then Dan Booth was a big step up for me, and I think I was, the last one where he sort of coming out of go. He has turned into a bit of an away fighter now, but at the time of me, he was 6-6, I think, and every fight, he come to win, and I managed to beat him every round, which I was buzzing with. I sort of did it in style when I beat him, so. I was happy with that win. That was probably one of my favourite wins. But yeah, no, they have all been tough. But like, I'm where I am now because of the route that I've been down and the fights that I've took. And yeah, it sort of made me the boxer I am now.
Yeah, well. As I've said there, when you go through your record, you see some of the names. I don't always think the lads like Jamie, Lee Hallett, Brian Mariana, Dan Booth, that the records do them the justice, because they are real tough fellas and they never get stopped, do they? They never, ever get stopped. And it's sort of, sometimes I think if you look at some of the prospects in British boxing now, they can get to 10, 11 and 0, but we don't really know the names, the boxing, if it's, an import or... But them names, you will see them week in, week out, won't you? So I do think you get, you've done your proper apprenticeship sort of as a pro with them names. Yeah. Last time I had the pleasure to MC you were in with Rajesh Kumar, who boasted a very decent 16-4-1 record, and he had 7 knockouts over 8 in Bolton. On paper, that was supposed to be a step up, but I was lucky enough to MC that night, and I thought very mature performance from you. Did you know much about just going into that step up, and or were you just like me, where you just seen the 16 wins and 7 knockouts?
Yeah, no, we had that opponent. We had that opponent locked in for about 8 weeks, I think. So, we had plenty of time to prepare for him. We knew what it was about. Obviously, we knew he was good. He had a good record on paper, and like you said, it was a step up for me. But like I say, we did our homework, got the tactics bang on, I thought, for that fight, and I just had to box. Like you say, it was a mature performance, and I think that was the most important thing about it, was that I stuck to the game plan, which was just box on the back foot and just literally stick to the boxing. And again, that was another fight I won every round in, and a big step up, and I come through with flying colours. Yeah. So it was a good fight. He's dangerous. He's a good fighter. Even when I was in there, like, you could see where the knockouts had come from. He'd load up with them massive shots, and I remember there being a few times where he'd just miss, and I'd like laugh to myself thinking, I'm glad that didn't land. But
was that your first eight as well, was it?
No,
am I right there or am I wrong? No, Dan was Dan an eight as well. Sorry.
Yeah, and then Vikesh Kumar was the second one. Yeah.
It's the first 8 IMC'd, and that's what I was thinking. I got a bit selfish thinking about myself there. But also as well, because as I said, I feel you went through the apprenticeship of, what you'd expect a British boxer to go through, boxing all the names we're familiar with, and then a nice step up to an international opponent there that you come through over 8 rounds. But also coming up, you've boxed on a lot of our good friend Kieran Farrell shows, but you've also been on Wasserman, People's Fighters, Frank Warren now in your last bout, which we'll touch on to in a bit more detail shortly. But Channel 5, Box Nation, DAZN, you have been across a few different platforms, haven't you? How have you found the difference with the different promoters at the different levels and the telly? Has it affected you in any way, or is it just same for you once you get in the ring?
Yeah, no, I'd probably say it's just the same, really. It's been a good experience. So yeah, like obviously getting to be on, all the different shows. Like, I think Wasserman was the first proper big TV show I was on, and that's when I had like the day before weigh-in and everything like that, and which was really good. And then the Box Nation one, I think that was like the first proper press conference that I did. And so as I've gone through, they've all just sort of got better and better. And then obviously the Queensbury one was a great experience for me. And now like the next one being Matchroom, so I'm sort of like taking them all off really, which is mint. I suppose you couldn't ask for more, because I suppose there'll probably be some fighters out there who get signed like nice and early to Matchroom or Queensbury or whatever, and they don't get to experience the others and see which one they prefer. So I mean, I'm hoping I get to the position where they all want to sign me and I can choose which one I preferred.
Yeah, no, well, that is obviously the goal. But as you said, it's the experience of getting to box across them all the different platforms, seeing what you get from them. As you touched on there, the Queensbury show last time out, on that show where you got the win over Rajesh, where another Manchester lad, Khalil Majid, also got on that card, and then he's boxed over 10 rounds on the Joe Joyce Hergovich undercard. It was under the lights without a slight technical issue. We will get there in the end one day. But yeah, we were just discussing there how the opportunity to box Khalil Majid presented itself. Another Manchester lad over 10 rounds on the undercard of Joe Joyce and Hergovich on a Queensbury show. How did that bout come to be made?
Well, I think it was funny actually, because before we both boxed on the same card, I remember an article coming out saying that, 2 Manchester lads in the super lightweight division boxing in this card, it could maybe set up for a fight in the future. And I remember seeing that and thinking, like, nobody's ever presented that fight to me before. Like, I'm thinking, is that some journalist trying to stir something up there, like laughing. Yeah. And then like, I think it was like a week or so before, a week before the fight, I was told then, my manager said, listen, there's a Queensbury show happening April. They've offered to fight Khalil Majid. Would you fancy it? And I was like, well, yeah, I would do. I mean, so it was quite funny because it wasn't a fight that was on the radar. Then all of a sudden, it comes straight on the radar, and it happened. And obviously, it turned out to be a cracking fight, didn't it? It was a good.
Yeah, really good, hard-fought, close fight over 10 rounds, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But it was funny because it come out of nowhere, because going into that fight and leading up to fight week, like the weigh-in and everything, I knew about the fight, and I remember somebody telling me, someone from Queensbury interviewed me before the fight, and like pretty much asked me the same question, how the fight came about, and asked me did I know about it going into the Box Nation fight, not Box Nation, it
was the Conlon one, wasn't it?
Boxing one, where we both was on the same show. So obviously I told him like, oh yeah, and like going into that fight and Khalil being on the same bill, I knew I was going to be fighting Khalil. And this guy had already spoken to Khalil and had said apparently Khalil didn't know about it. So
Oh, really?
yeah, apparently he found out after the fight, but obviously I had found out before the fight. So but it was it was
So,
quite funny. And then once it finished, I think we had like 6 weeks then, and we obviously both cracked on, and then fought in April. Yeah.
I know. Obviously, that was that your first 10 rounder, and did you? Am I right remembering that you got cut in that fight as well? Was that your first cut as a pro, or has that happened before?
No, it was the first cut as a pro. I have been cut before. I got cut in the last amateur fight. On the opposite eye, actually down here. But then obviously, luckily, I had never been caught in the pros, and then against Khalil, I got caught that last 20 seconds of the final round.
Is that when it was?
That's when it was, mate. Yeah, so unlucky.
Obviously, that was a good, close, hard-fought fight. Definitely, I know you took a loss on your record, but obviously you probably got more from that contest than you'd have some of your other ones. People probably wouldn't have begrudged you maybe a comeback fight, a 6 or an 8 after your first loss in a cut. How has it come about that you're right back in a 10 in another derby with a lad who's got the exact same 13-1 record as you? When did this opportunity present itself? Am I right that it was 11 days notice you took it on?
Yeah, 11 days notice, I think. Yeah, 11 or 12. Can't remember. You know, like I'm one of them. Me, like I'm happy to stay in big fights and fight whoever. Like obviously, I leave it all down to my manager and to my coach. But like, I say to him, I make it clear to him, like whatever path you want me to go down, whatever fights you think that I should take, then I'm happy to take, and sort of think I'll fight whoever, like whenever and wherever. So, like a comeback fight was on the cards as well, and initially. We got offered the Aqib Fiaz fight about 6 weeks ago, and I accepted. It was for this date as well. I accepted, but then Aqib Fiaz took the Michael Gomez fight instead.
Yeah.
So it left me without a fight. So then, like a comeback fight was on the cards, and like, all right, okay, well, like we was looking at a Queensbury show, the end of August, and just do like an 8-rounder international opponent, something like that. And then Michael Gomez pulled out, and obviously I was the first one to come to then. And I accepted. Yeah, no reason not to. I stayed in the gym, stayed training, stayed sparring, like stayed fit and sharp. So, the only reason, like, there was no reason not to take the fight. Really, obviously, it's not ideal only having 12 days, but it was a fight we wanted 6 weeks ago. So, a fight I wanted 6 weeks ago is still a fight I want 11 days. Notice. So, I don't think it makes much difference to me, but. It's an exciting fight though, and I can't wait for it now.
And as you've said there, you leave it to your coach and your manager. Is that Brian and Lee, is it?
Yeah. So Brian, Lee, Let's Go Management, and Fired Advisory as well. Management,
yeah. So obviously, Aqib, it is not to go on about it, but it is curious or a good coincidence that you've got the exact same record on paper. The 13-1. Aqib, a similar career in some respects. Some of the names on his record we'd expect to see early doors. Ibby Riaz, Ben Fields, Jamie Spike, Christian Navarez. They're sort of some names he's had. He's obviously been in with Kane Baker, Dean Dodge as well. The difference is his loss, whereas he was stopped by Reece Bellotti, wasn't he? Do you take much from that, or doesn't it change what you're going to do? How do you see the fight going? And what weight is the fight going to be at as well?
The fight's at lightweight 135. Lightweight. So the fight's at lightweight, and obviously Aki getting stopped by Bellotti. I know he's been put down another couple of times as well in other fights, previous fights. So I think he's a good fighter, but he's also I feel like a fighter who maybe hasn't got as good of a chin. So it's an interesting fight because obviously I'm a pressure fighter. I like to put the pressure on. And and I'll be asking him questions, especially come the later round. So it'll be interesting to see how he reacts to that. And it'd be nice to get my first stoppage, mate. It would. That's what I'm sort of looking at. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing on paper, because I say on paper record you don't have a stoppage, but I don't really opponents you've boxed that sort of tells the story as to why that hasn't happened. In my opinion, anyway. Do you feel the same as that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, obviously, very, very tough opponents who very rarely get stopped. You know what I mean? You see
Never,
some people.
really.
Yeah, you go on BoxRec and you see some fighters with stoppages, and you look at the lads that they've stopped, and they get stopped all the time. You know what I mean? And you just think, but really, it's probably not done them any good. And I think I'm a fighter who does carry power. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have been like that. Take that fight with Khalil Majid, for example. He was a lot heavier than me, naturally the bigger guy. I wouldn't have been able, if I had no punch power, I wouldn't have been able to keep him off me, for 10 rounds.
Winning
If I
rounds
didn't,
en route as well.
exactly, with that weight that he had on me. If I didn't have respectable punch power, I wouldn't have been able to keep him off me. So I do carry that power. It's just getting the right fight to show that. And hopefully, mate, this will be the one.
How are you finding? Yeah, and how are you finding the move to lightweight? Because I know you've normally campaigned a bit heavy. You haven't always had the luxury a day before weigh-ins and stuff as well, but on every bout you've had. But I know, like, because I'd always, from my MCing career, known you as a sort of 10-stone boxer.
Yeah.
More, not. I don't know whether that's just because we've done like on the day weigh-ins or stuff, but is lightweight where you see your future, or is because this opportunity presented itself at lightweight?
Yeah, that was the plan after the Khalil Majid fight. We had some chats, and lightweight, I was always going to go down to it. So, because I can make it comfortably. Like throughout my career, I've always boxed between lightweight and super lightweight. I never really picked a division. But then obviously when the Khalil fight came about, it came at super light. So we accepted, and that was fine. But like, at super lightweight, I was on like 3,400 calories. You know what I mean? Like something ridiculous because of how easy, obviously, super light. Yeah, because of how easy super light is to make. You know what I mean? So there was no struggle whatsoever. So yeah, lightweight again, though, is pretty comfortable, and which shows like 12 days notice, and I'm going to be able to make the weight. So yeah, I think, like, going forwards, like as it stands at the minute, lightweight will be the division that I'm going to continue to compete at. And then obviously you never know, mate, in the future, if I need to move up, then I can do. But I think, my career is looking like it'll be at lightweight for a while now.
Well, good. I'm glad you answered like that, because I was a bit nervous asking that question, sort of saying 12 days notice and on paper moving down a weight. But when you've explained a bit of the context there behind why you were boxing at 10 stone, it sort of, and the in between lightweight and light welter would have been down to, the opportunities that presented themselves there, and also the fact you've probably not always had the luxury of a day before weigh in. I know you said you've added a little bit with the Wasserman shows and the Joe Joyce undercard, Hergovich undercard you were on, but what sort of, have you got more media commitments for this contest coming up than you used to? And how does Fight Week look a little bit different for you than maybe it would have on another show?
You know what, mate? Surprisingly, the Queensbury one disappointed me a little bit, because I didn't have any of the press conference or the media or anything like that. It was literally just the date, the weigh-in, and then the fight. I remember when it got announced, that Queensbury fight, like I was buzzing, because I thought, like, because I love Fight Week anyway. Fight Week's my favourite week, and I love like the build up to it. And I remember thinking, like, I'll get in, like, I'm gonna have like a public workout, I'll have a press conference, I'll have all this to look forward to, and I had nothing. They just did the main event. Ergovich, that was the press conference was just them two. But obviously, with this Matchroom show now, I've found out, on Wednesday I have a media day. On Thursday, I have a press conference. On Friday's a weigh-in, and obviously Saturday's a fight. So, it'll be a lot more to do, a lot more to look forward to. And I think like people like myself who are still like getting into the public eye and, you know, coming up and trying to raise my profile, this is the stuff I need. I need to be in like press conferences and, you know, sort of portray myself and in front of people, especially on big stages like this. So yeah, I'm buzzing.
Does it impact you at all, or are you looking forward to it and going to thrive off it?
Oh yeah, no, I'm buzzing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love doing all this sort of stuff. It sort of gets me hyped up for the fight, really. Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, we will look forward to following you in fight week as well. Then, we've got a media day Wednesday, press conference Thursday, and weigh-in on Friday. So I'm sure you'll share that on all your socials, won't it? If any of our watchers don't have you on social media, what should they look for? What are your tags?
Yeah. My social media, Instagram is @AlexMurphy_boxing. Facebook I'm on as well, Alex Murphy. Twitter I think is AlexMurphy11. I'm also on TikTok. I've been doing day in the life on TikTok, like the vlogs. I always do that on the fight week. I think that's Alex Murphy 4, maybe. If you type in Alex Murphy, I'll probably come up, no doubt. And yeah, that's my social media. I'm active on them all, to be honest. I like sharing all my stuff and you know, the build ups and everything like that. So yeah, people can follow me on there.
Yeah, I like them day in the life things as a fan, from a fan's perspective, seeing them. They are good. And obviously, the other element to the fight itself is it is another Manchester derby. Do you take any sort of local pride from it, or is it just another opponent? Does that not make it any different for you?
Yeah, no, not really. It's just like another opponent, really. It don't really matter, like, to me, like where they're from, if they're local or not local. Because I don't know him that well. You know, there's been no bad blood or, you know, nothing like that. So, you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't really bother me. But I mean, I suppose a lot of people from, you know, around here know him, and, you know, they know me. So I suppose it is bragging rights whoever wins. So I'm making sure I get the win on Saturday.
So, do you know what time we can expect it in the ring yet, or is that to come?
I haven't been I haven't been told confirmation, but a couple of things I've seen, like on a couple of articles and a couple of posts saying like around 9 o'clock. But
So it's prime time, really, possibly.
Yeah, it'll be a good slot. I'd imagine, mate. It'd be, obviously you got the main event, Catterall and Eubank.
Yeah.
I think then it'll be the co-main event will be Joe Cordina, and then I think we'll be before him.
Yeah.
I think we'll get a really good slot, but my guess would be around 8-9 o'clock. Yeah.
How have you found the transition as well, boxing from, obviously, because I've sort of started when I was emceeing you before you got big time. I'm only joking, but you did some of the smaller halls compared to the big arenas. Does that impact you, or is it just the same?
Yeah, no, mate, I love the big arenas, mate. I love the big platforms.
Yeah.
And it's like because obviously, you know, when you start out as a boxer, they're the platforms and the shows you want to be on. So I remember walking out at the co-op, and like everyone asked me like, "Oh, how did that feel?" You know, walking out in an arena full of thousands of fans, and it was like the only way I could describe it was like a sense of belonging, because I've dreamt of it and I've sort of like manifested it for so long. When it got to walking out at a co-op, it just felt normal to me. It just felt fine, and I think that's the same with these like the bigger TV shows. Like now I'm getting onto these platforms. It's just like I feel like I just belong there, and, you know, I thrive off it. So no, it's really good.
And do you think, obviously, because it was a fight you looked at 6 weeks ago, I'm not expecting you to go into your tactics or details or anything, but as you accepted that fight 6 weeks ago, did you have a sort of focus on how you would approach the fight, that, you know, even though you've only had 12 days to actually put it into place, or is it just you're going to do your thing and your thing's your thing?
Yeah, no, I think obviously tactics play a big part of it, and, you know, you engage straight away from, you know, watching him, how he's going to come out, and, you know, how he is, and size, and, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, so I suppose the tactics that we would have implemented 6 weeks ago are the same as what we are implementing now. And obviously, you know, I won't give it away, but I think his style is tailor made for me in that aspect. The way I box, somebody with his style and his size is a perfect opponent for me. So I'm looking forward to it.
No, well, we're all looking forward to it. Really appreciate you coming on and previewing the fight with us. And as I say, I've had the privilege of emceeing you loads of times over the years, and now I've had a little go at this project of the podcast I made up that you've agreed to come on for us and, give us a bit of a fight week insight, because it's the first time we've tried to do something like that. We had the technical issues that I always seem to have for a small period, but I really appreciate you coming on there, Alex, and hopefully we could catch up after the fight if that's okay.
Yeah, definitely, mate. No, that'd be good. Come back on, yeah.
Thank you very much for your time there, Alex, and good luck on Saturday.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.